Well, how about that? Holy boats, what a game. David already firing up in the chat. Nice to see you. Christian Cox, nice to see you as well. As the Edmonton Oilers pull out the I will call this one unexpected. Did not really see this game going this particular way, even though the Oilers have had a great run against the St. Louis Blues all season long. I am Graham Mosimann, so excited to have you here for this episode of Game Over Edmonton. As we break this one down. Now we're gonna try something a little bit different here. Now, if you're joining us on stream, you can probably already see it, but we are gonna kind of, rather than just like me going through just like this thing and talking at you, I want to do this double screen setup here, so we can go through the game kind of goal by goal and watch it. Thanks to this very fun NHL goal visualizer thing. So we're gonna go through that game together. From Christian there in the chat, let's go. We won the game. From David, that game was a battle right to the end, but for the Oilers, a win's a win. Yeah, and it kind of feels that way right now, David, doesn't it? Because when you have this team that is just riddled with injured players, being able to pull out any sort of win just feels really good at this point. I mean, the Oilers are going to make the playoffs. That's not up for, like, they're going to make it. You know, what the seeding is going to be is very much up in the air at this point. But you know what? We'll take it as playoffs still not entirely certain. If the Oilers are going to start on the Sunday or the Monday, it'll really depend. But yeah, we really needed that one. From Christian there in the chat, everybody deserves a win. Yeah, everybody except St. Louis. So I always keep thinking every time St. Louis comes up of something that Ash said when we had our big crossover episode with Game Over Calgary. And that's the fact that they hate watch the St. Louis Blues just to see how Holloway and Broberg are doing. And Holloway's hurt. He might not even be back for the first round of the playoffs if the St. Louis Blues kind of make it through the first round. Although they're still, even losing tonight, one of the hottest teams in the league. It felt kind of good that Philip Broberg did not have the most outstanding game I've ever kind of seen from him. The St. Louis Blues are a fascinating team in that they're this weird kind of like, they almost kind of feel like the Vegas Golden Knights did when they first kind of joined the league, and that there's all these guys that you're like, oh hell, you play for them? Oh, look at you go. Fully forgetting that Ryan Suter was a player in the National Hockey League, as he opens up the scoring on a shorthanded goal. Pavel Buchnevich assisting on that one. Now this Oilers power play was messy. The Oilers power play, when you don't have Connor and you don't have Leon, or you don't have one of them for a period of a time, it changes so much. It changes so dramatically. And I thought you could really feel that now Connor coming back, trying to reset what he does on that power play, because just everything about it felt really messy. Christian, the chat, amazing start by Kelvin Pickard. Oh my God, could you imagine Calvin Pickard as a righteous gemstone? Ugh, terrifying. But as we pop over to the NHL goal visualizer, you can see here Connor tries to break through the zone, unable to get it. Skinner loses the puck, and then Buchnevich comes back, and then, oh boy, this is just right. This moment right here is absolute joy for anyone who continues to hate Evan Bouchard and hasn't clued into the fact that, you know, honestly, when Evan Bouchard makes big defensive mistakes like this, it really just lowers the number that we're going to re-sign him at, and that's not a bad thing. We'll get into that a little bit longer, a little bit later here in this period. But great pass across by Buchnevich. Ryan Suter, who, yes, still plays in the NHL, able to take that one and pot it behind Pickard, who was really left out to dry. I mean, you can't really expect a huge defensive show up by Evan Bouchard. He just doesn't do that. But, you know, we move on, and through the first period, Oilers kind of pull things together a little bit when we get into the second. Now, the first period had a couple of bright spots for the Oilers, mainly in Vasily Podkolzin. And Podkolzin is such a both wonderful and infuriating player because it feels like he's constantly just inches away from scoring. Always. And if he was able to actually put the puck in the net with all the great chances he has, he'd be a 30-goal scorer without even trying, especially with some of the play that he's been able to put together. He has such a sneaky good wrist shot. We'll get to his really nice goal up here that put the Oilers up in a second. But Connor Brown is becoming the Connor Brown that was kind of sold to us as fans when he got that truly incredible contract that didn't really have enough provisions for a player who hadn't been playing in a couple of years. This looked like vintage Toronto Maple Leaf, Ottawa Senator, Washington Capital Connor Brown on this one. Because the great thing when it comes to Connor Brown is that he just has this, no, I'm going to go do stuff and you can't stop me. With this just ferocity that he plays when he gets to be playing angry. And if we watch it again here, so the puck off the draw gets picked up by St. Louis. Connor Brown brushes in there, knocks them off the puck, gets it back to Jeff Skinner, who hits the post, bounces back to McDavid, jumps it over to Connor Brown, who absolutely rifles it above the head of Jordan Biddington. And I am always so gosh darn happy to see Jordan Biddington get scored on, especially more so when he gets into some fighty, spicy moments. And we're going to touch on that here in just a quick second here on Game Over Edmonton. If you're in the chat, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the Corey Perry, Jordan Biddington throwdown that we saw in that particular game. Oh boy. Before we get to that, though, I want to tell you about Hyperdrive Hockey, the twice weekly show you will find on the Game Over National YouTube page or on wherever fine podcasts are sold as Max, Daphne, and Kevin dive into all the world of hockey. And really, they're having just a ton of fun right now with Montreal being in the position that they are. Oh boy, the Habs are good, and I can't wait for a Battle of Ontario if it should line up like that in the Eastern playoffs. So we get to this kind of fight between Corey Perry going toe-to-toe with Jake Neighbors, who I always have a soft spot for Neighbors, especially given his time with the Edmonton Oil Kings. You're really coming to his own with the Blues this year, and him just feeding fists with Corey Perry. Now, Corey Perry going full Corey Perry worm that we know and love in giving Biddington a couple extra jabs, really kind of getting up into his business. But once again, in the most classic of Jordan Biddington ways, he gets all mad, gets all tough, and then the ref gets in his vicinity and he's like, "Oh, I can't possibly fight. Look at this little man in the front of me. I couldn't skate around him and actually engage with another player. No, that's be crazy. I gotta pretend like I'm gonna fight because I'm Jordan Biddington." I know that we wouldn't have won the Four Nations Faceoff without him. Jordan Biddington's still a grade A goober. So you get that kerfuffle, you get that back and forth. God, I cannot wait for the playoffs when we have a line that is quite feasibly, if everyone's not hurt, which who knows if that'll happen. I can't wait to have a line of Evander Kane, Corey Perry, and Trent Frederick. That's just the go-get-wrecked line, and it's perfect for the playoffs. So get through that fight, get into the second period, and now we have our kind of go-ahead goal scored by Vasily Podkolzin, who again has such a good shot, and not even how he ended up scoring on this one. He just benefits from really good placement on the ice. Now you see this one, he immediately kind of tangles up with Pavel Buchnevich on this one. So we look at the ice right now. We have Connor McDavid right in the middle, Bouchard and Nurse up at the points, Podkolzin and Perry fighting in behind the net, and McDavid lurking around the middle like the shark he is, which is exactly what you want. This puck gets thrown behind the net. Connor chases it down, gets it up to Darnell, who fires it on net. It jumps out, and Vasily Podkolzin there to dump in the rebound, which is great. Pod's a big dude. He is hard to move. He is. I'm trying not to think of all the cliche hockey porn phrases that broadcasters have to talk about when a player is like really, really strong. Like, he's so thick there on the ice, hard on the puck, getting deep into this game with a... I don't want to get this video explicitly set, so not going to go there. But great work by Podkolzin to use his greatest strengths to be in the right space to be able to score a goal. And it was a real nice note for the Oilers that I really hope is going to kind of give Pod a little bit of juice, because really, I don't know if he's going to have... Is he going to be on the ice in the playoffs? It's hard to see it, especially when you have Evander Kane coming back and Jeff Skinner playing as well as he is. But, I mean, is Jeff Skinner, just making up for bad play? Or is Jeff Skinner actually playing at his regular ability because he's finally in a position to actually go? David, I'm starting to fade, but I enjoyed the stream. It's late where I am in Toronto, and it's almost 1:15 on a Thursday. David, you are a gem. Go to sleep, my friend. Get ready for work tomorrow. Enjoy everything in Toronto. I deeply love Toronto. I know a lot of Edmontonians don't, but it's one of my favorite cities on the planet. So I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you after the next one and the next Oilers game if we can. So farewell, friend. We will hopefully see you soon. Podkolzin puts the Oilers up by 2 as we roll into the third period, and Jordan Kyrou, who 34 goals on the season, by the way. What a great player he is, and such a good skater. As a couple of different really important players get involved on this one, you have you have Cam Fowler, who I completely forgot was a St. Louis Blue. No idea. Making a real smart pass to get the puck over to Justin Falk, who fires it up and pushes this puck down the ice to Kyrou, gets it to Thomas, back to Buchnevich, back to Kyrou, who skates past Zach Hyman, who just doesn't have that same level of speed that Jordan Kyrou does, and then deposits it behind Calvin Pickard. Bit of a logjam up in the front here, as you have Darnell Nurse kind of getting a little bit in the way. I mean, Troy Stetcher not really defending like he could be. And you have a little... I'm going to move ahead and kind of pause at this exact moment here. So you have a little bit of a logjam in front of Calvin Pickard. And Calvin Pickard's had been a very good goalie this season. But when you have half the net that's just gobbed up by Oiler players, and Jordan Kyrou with his speed and shooting ability, that's going to be a goal a lot of the time. Game gets tied up until Victor Arvidsson makes his way into this one. Arvidsson, much like Jeff Skinner, I mean, Arvidsson a lot more because he's finally not injured, but he's been finally given some opportunity to actually play up this lineup with all the injuries. And lo and behold, he's showing that he's actually pretty gosh darn good. This one, a lot of nice work by Brett Kulak, who's been playing some of the best hockey of his career. Fires it on net. Arvidsson right there to score on the rebound. Now, what have we seen so far from all of the Oilers' goals? Just think about it for a quick sec. What have we seen so far? The vast majority of them, there has been this big blob in front of the net. This is something that the Oilers do get away from when they have all their highest skill players getting involved, and it's not going to go well if they don't do what they're doing right here. If they don't do this in the playoffs are going to get well. We'll dive into that in just a quick second as we move into the final segment of this game here on Game Over Edmonton. Once again, my name is Graham Mosimann. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show today. I want to tell you about some merch we have. You can find it over at GameOverNetwork.com or just search Game Over Network, and you'll be able to find some incredible designs, whether it's the skater design, the goalie design. We have some toques that are up there for the last little dashes of winter that we have. Scarves as well if you want something more decorative. Lots of really cool stuff, and it all goes to support this tiny little company that we are trying to grow to expand the voices in hockey beyond like the big companies that we all are so familiar with. As we move further into the third period now, Victor Arvidsson able to kind of pick up this rebound, take advantage, and score. The Oilers making sure to really focus on gobbing up the front of the net and making this your scoring zone. Having other players score in the Zach Hyman zone is going to be absolutely mega for this game. As the Arvidsson goal pulls the Oilers ahead. That lead does not last, though, as Pavel Buchnevich, who at one point in time was rumored to be interested at Edmonton, ends up re-upping in St. Louis. And man, I don't know if it's just because I love players that wear 89, because I'm just still a big Sam Gagner nerd at heart. I love Pavel Buchnevich. I've loved him since he was a Ranger. He's got such a great shot. He is so smart, and he is he's like that kind of sneaky sort of dirty that Leon Draisaitl is, which is one of the things I just love about him. So with this particular play, you have Kyrou passing it across to Buchnevich. They're going to pass back and forth. Robert Thomas gets involved. Kyrou able to dump it to Buchnevich on the side of the net. And it's like if he used the NHL 25 like crease crasher ability. He's able to use his body positioning and his just the fact that he's a better player than Ty Emberson to box Emberson out and score from deep inside. For the most part here, all these goals that we are seeing are right in this area around the net, both on the Oilers and that the Oilers have scored. So goals like this I don't think happen when Mattias Ekholm's in the lineup, because Ekholm is clearing people out. He's the best player the Oilers have at being able to just forcibly move people away from the net. Darnell Nurse has that ability as well, but Nurse is pulling extra duty because Jake Wallman was hurt. And I mean, Jake Wallman's great skill is that he breaks up passes and pucks before they even get to this point. But I don't think this goal happens at all if the Oilers are up there. They're absolutely full strength. So we are at that point getting into a very weird section of the game. I'm always kind of gobsmacked at hockey fans when they get so upset at what is ultimately a correct call. And when the Oilers go up with that power play, when Evan Bouchard gets hauled down with 2:48 left in the period, all the energy is flowing in Edmonton's direction. We're going good. Everything's cooking. Let's make it happen. And then Connor McDavid takes a stupid penalty. Like, I did get a laugh because you could see Connor as he was skating away, goes to the ref and saying, F you, man. You could very clearly lip read that off him. The whole rink is booing, chanting, ref, you suck. Look, I maybe, you're in the building, you don't get the same replays. They're not going to show the ones that show your best player in the worst light. That was Connor McDavid grabbed him. He reached and he held on to the player. It was a very fair penalty. Now, the Oilers should have lost this one when coming out of the box, Nathan Walker almost able to deposit behind Calvin Pickard, if not for a fantastic defensive play by Darnell Nurse. The Oilers ripping back the other way, and our sweet boy Connor Brown able to put this one away for Edmonton. I loved this line when they got put together with Connor McDavid and Connor Brown, and then occasionally Adam Henrique was up there. A lot of time we had Jeff Skinner. I really, really, really liked that line. I would like to see more of it, if possible, going forward, because putting Leon down, I really like what you kind of have with Arvidsson, Podkolzin, and Leon. Kind of leave that one together, if possible. If you can find a way to have like Zach Hyman, Jeff Skinner, Connor McDavid, I'm really, really kind of liking what you have there. And, maybe you swap out Jeff Skinner with Connor Brown on occasion and kind of have that rotation going. But keeping Hyman and McDavid together for the playoffs, that gives you the chance for your third line to be, Trent Frederic, Evander Kane, and then Corey Perry. And then, pick your combo with Adam Henrique and Janmark and then Brown, or Henrique and Janmark and Skinner, and whatever you want to do. There's going to be a whole lot of options there for this team when everyone's up and healthy, hopefully, and we're rolling into the playoffs. But I think it is going to be time to give Connor Brown a little bit more time with Connor McDavid, especially if Zach Hyman isn't cooking at the kind of level you want to see, because maybe it's just the fact that they're real good buds and have known each other for forever, going back to Erie, but hard to be upset with what you see here, as you can tell Connor Brown is just watching and waiting for McDavid to draw the whole team with him like one of those fishing barges that's slowly ruining our oceans and sucking up all the fish. As Connor McDavid pulls almost the entirety of the St. Louis Blues with him, opening up a shot for Connor Brown, who, bloop, pops it behind Jordan Binnington, and the Oilers take the win. 51 points now in the season for Evan Bouchard, or 51 assists on the season, 67 for McDavid. Connor Brown putting together a nice little run here. I think if you're upset at what Connor Brown is bringing this year, I don't think you're watching the Oilers very much. He's vicious on the penalty kill. He has the ability to pot some, and when you're playing third and fourth line minutes for the most part, and then seeing your production increase when you are moving up the lineup, I have a hard time being upset with what Connor Brown has brought to the Oilers, although I deeply dislike when you see him on the ice with Brett Kulak, because if you can't see the numbers properly, those guys look the same. They're basically the same dude, and it throws me off every single time. So that was the game. That's what we had. The Oilers now in a fairly interesting situation coming to the last chunk of the playoffs here, or before the playoffs here. Oilers now only with, 3 games left, I want to say. Am I mathing that out? No, they got 4 games left on this one. So if you have any questions in the chat, thoughts of your emotions on the game, let us know in the chat. Christian Cox, I'm going to bed. Good night for me. Good to see you, friendo. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night. We'll see you on the next live stream. That's it for me. Good night. Let's go Oilers. David, Christian, thanks so much for joining us, guys. Have yourself an awesome evening. We're going to wrap up the show here pretty quick. So if you are watching and have any questions in the chat, let us know. Standings. Let's break down those a little bit here. The Oilers very much at this point looking, it's going to be LA in all likelihood. The Kings have 5 games left, and probably with a game in hand, you think they're going to hold on to that position. With the, there's a chance maybe that the Oilers do fall into a wild card position and end up having to play the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't think so. It's possible, but Calgary's not catching you. Truth be told, I think if you have a choice or have the ability to kind of go play in that first wild card slot where you're playing the Golden Knights, or the second wild card spot where you're playing the Winnipeg Jets, I know the Winnipeg Jets could win the President's Trophy. They're so freaking good and have been awesome all year long. Connor Hellebuck sucks in the playoffs. I think he sucks in big moments. He was crummy for Team USA when it mattered. He's been crummy for the Jets when it mattered. If it comes down to it, I'm feeling a whole lot better about the Oilers taking on the Winnipeg Jets as opposed to the Vegas Golden Knights. So, ideally, I think you want to stay right here and take on the Kings, and then play the winner of whoever is in this zone but taking on, I think you want to play the winner of Vegas and, Minnesota, or Vegas and St. Louis, depending on how it shakes out. I'd rather play St. Louis because there's more stories there. It's more exciting. It's more fun. But, who cares? It's the playoffs. It doesn't really matter. In the grand scheme of things, you got to beat the teams that are in front of you, and I'm sure the Oilers will at least get around in, maybe. If some of these injuries really get spicy, then it'll be a different story. So that'll do it, though, for this show here of Game Over Edmonton. Next couple streams are going to be a lot of fun as Game Over ramps up towards playoffs. So 4 games left. The Oilers on the ice again this Friday with a home date against Macklin Celebrini and the San Jose Sharkies. Then they head to Winnipeg to take on the Jets, fly all the way across North America to take on the Los Angeles Kings on Monday, and then they wrap up the season against the Sharks again, coming up on Wednesday. If the Oilers beat the Sharks on Friday and Hopefully the Jets are in coast mode and the Oilers want to fight for some seeding on Sunday. It's really possible that that game against the Kings could be for home ice advantage. Very, 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 very possible. But we'll see how it shakes out. I have a feeling the seeding won't be officially decided until Wednesday. Unsure at that point, though, with the playoffs, if they'll start on Sunday or the Monday. They probably won't start on Saturday because the NHL likes to give teams a little bit more leeway until that happens. But tentatively start to plan your Sunday nights to feature The Last of Us and the Edmonton Oilers. That'll do it for me here on Game Over Edmonton. I'm Graham Mosimann. If you liked this video, please give it a little like. If you really liked it, subscribe and keep an eye on us for every post-game show as the Oilers make their way into the playoffs. Have a lot of cool crossover stuff coming with other hosts and other markets here across the Game Over Network. Oh boy, it's almost playoffs. Let's go, baby! Have a good one, my friend, and we'll talk very soon. Oh no, where's my outro video? Where's the thing that lets you know I'm done? Oh no! Oh no! Oh, my thing's disappeared. Uh-oh, that's okay. Wait, no, there it goes. And now the show's over.